People talk about listening to spirit, getting in touch with my spirit. How do I do that and or know when I'm talking to spirit? Well, this one is really important because we have our ego minds speaking and we have spirit, which is also our higher selves, which is truth, which is our connection to source intelligence. And honestly, sometimes it can be a challenge to know, like, which voice is it? Is it this one or is it this one? Is it that ego voice that's speaking from all of my programs? Or is it my higher self that's speaking from my absolute connection to source and my true north? Now, here's where I think it really gets a little bit tricky. There's also the mind, right? The ego mind and the heart. And when we're speaking to spirit, our source connection, we can feel the truth within ourselves. When we're thinking about it, or when we're in that more ego mind program side of it, we're trying to put it into a category, a judgment, a right or a wrong, right? Which comes back to that judgment. Does this make sense? Is this the right thing? And so when we get into spirit, it's that soft spot within us that we go, oh, that message resonates for me. So sometimes I like to call them hits. You're like, oh, I got a hit. And I mean more like intuitive hit. And one of the reasons why I wear this crown is symbolically to talk about how important it is that we keep our crown chakra open and all of our chakras aligned so that we can bring in information in through our bodies and feel, is that how I say yes or no to something? Because I can feel it deep within me. You know, I'm kind of going here, like, which is more like my third chakra. It's sort of like that gut feeling. Right? So we start to feel these responses in our body as opposed to evaluate them with our mind. And that's really the distinction about spirit. I think we've all had situations when this comes up that we can really anchor in. And a lot of times for me, I know when I know it's spirit, it's an intuitive hit. It's something that's really coming from truth. It's oftentimes when I don't understand the outcome, meaning I go, I just know I need to do this. I don't know why, but I feel it that this is the right thing for me to do. And then I move forward with it. I like to call it intuitive risk taking. It's just another way to sort of frame it, but it means that I got a hit and I'm going to trust that hit because I know that I can always just make another decision, right? So a lot of times we get in this idea of, oh, it's a good decision or a bad decision, or maybe I shouldn't have done that or should have done that. And I just say, throw all of that out the window, follow spirit, follow your inner guide, your inner wisdom, right? That's the whole show here, awaken inner wisdom. So get more into that heart-centered place, especially when you don't know what the next step is. Another way I like to talk about that is lanterns. You know, if you're on a path and you're walking along the path, and you come upon a fork in the road and there's lanterns, you just pick a lantern and you say, I'm going to follow this light. And then if you need to make another decision, you can follow that light. But when you're following the light and you're following what feels right deep within you, then you know you're connected to your higher self, to spirit, to your own inner wisdom that you've awakened. It's there. Everybody has it. That's the beauty. But a lot of times we're shoving it down until we have something that happens in our life. Chances are the viewers on this show have already had something that happened that said, maybe there's something a little more here to dig into. And that's why you're listening to the show, because you know that there is a guide, a path to follow, and that your inner wisdom, your higher self, your spirit is actually leading the way. We just need to settle down our minds so that we can listen. I so appreciate all the questions that you guys submit each week. I love answering them. I love giving insights. And I do encourage you to apply for the Awaken Inner Wisdom membership. But more importantly, perhaps, is if you haven't done the State of the Heart assessment, please do. There's a link down below, and it's bethbell.me. You can fill out your State of the Heart. The assessment will give you very specific results to which stage of the heart you are in. And also some tips, tools, and techniques will come your way over time in the emails. And we'll learn more about you, and you'll learn more about me, and we can support one another in such a beautiful way. Now, if you're also interested in going deeper in some of the concepts that I talk about, there's great stories, transformational storytelling in Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics. There's also the Awakening and Healing Handbook, which is filled with a plethora of different tips, tools, techniques. And there's also the Psychedelic Resource Guide. So if you know of someone who may be interested in plant-based medicines, spiritual medicines, and looking for information and insights, it's an incredible guide to help you, the Psychedelic Resource Guide. And also the Herpes Handbook. So it's obviously about herpes, but it's also about viruses of the mind. So I would highly encourage you, if you know someone or maybe you meet someone, I know that handbook will give you lots of information that will be very helpful in navigating how to open up difficult conversations around lots of mind viruses, not just herpes. So please don't hesitate to go check that out on bethbell.me. All right. I so appreciate you. Please put comments in the, whether you're on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And if you want something a little more private, you can go to bethbell.me/question and enter your question there. All right. Until next week, Sundays, 11:11, I'm wishing you much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste.